have my freshly painted water pump housing. Looks good. And my freshly painted water pump. Snazzy. Oh, and I truly could not get a like closer match in this light. The way it's coming down, it doesn't look super close, but it's like one shade off from the car, and I truly could not get a closer match from a can if I tried. It is, I don't know, Rust-Oleum industrial red gloss, or gloss red, or something like that. So I'm gonna start putting it all back together now. Let's go. Okay, so before I get too much farther, I'm going to go ahead and replace this little O-ring gasket for the oil metering pump, if I can get it out. Before I go too far, let me compare and contrast the new one. Cleaning some of the oil and gunk out of the O-ring area. Okay, here's the new one. Call me a skeptic, I don't know. I mean, it fits in there pretty good. I guess the other one was just old and baked on. Okay, time to take the paper towels out. I only had 3 in total. Wipe this down, make sure there's nothing in there. I'm gonna put water pump and housing gasket maker around here. I don't know how that is for thin, but it's on there. Clean it up a little bit. New gasket. Next, I'm going to put this gasket maker all over this, which will be a little bit easier than it was on there. That green wiring harness connector that I removed, I'm going to put back on now. Snapped in place. This hose that I removed that goes to the housing, put it back on. Push this back. Put the gasket on. I'm going to do the same thing on the water pump itself. Now that that's on, wipe off my fingers for one, and I'm going to slide the water pump on. Okay, so the factory service manual states that the tightening torque is 18 to 26 Newton meters for the water pump, or 18 or 13 to 20 foot-pound. I've already got my torque wrench set to 24 Newton meters, so that's what we're gonna go with. And it also doesn't state a pattern in which to torque them down with, so I'm gonna go around, get them all tighten down the best I can, and then I will go in like the best crisscross pattern I can in order to torque them down. All right, and we'll just start here. Done this one go here. Here. I'll do this one down here. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult to get to. I'll do this one next. Draw. We'll do this one way down here next. That's all of them because I started here. Okay, so I'm gonna go back over and make sure they're all torqued down. Okay, next I'm going to reinstall the oil metering pump. This gasket keeps falling out. It says that it is for this car. I am not so sure. That's on. Short bolt goes here. I'm going to go through, I'm going to get them all hand tight, and then I'm going to look at the torque specs and torque them down the best that I can. I have a feeling those back there will be a little more difficult than they should be. long bolt goes in the bottom. There's only 3 bolts. One here, one right behind it, and then one right below the back one. Let me feel to see where I'm going. Actually, let me just do this. There we go. Okay. Leave that hanging a minute while I look at the torque specs, and I'll be back because I don't want to take this off and then take time finding it again. So BRB. The correct torque specs would be like 69 to 95 inch-pounds. 70 inch-pounds correlates to like roughly 8 Newton meters. So I'm just going to kind of do this by feel. I'm going to tighten it up this way the best that I can. Tighten them all down, and then I guess go back through. All right, that's as tight as that. Okay, next, this little bracket right here goes like this. I took it off so I could paint the housing and not paint this, so I'm going to put this back on. I don't think these require any specific torque. I'm going to do it the same as the water pump. Now that this bracket's on, I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the alternator. Gotta look at my pictures that I took for reference where this goes. I'm pretty sure it goes between the bolt and the alternator, but I'm gonna make sure it goes between the bolt and the alternator. Cool. That bolt off. Oh, this is the long bolt that goes through there. Let's lay that there. That should be almost dead on. Let's see. Boom. Look at that. All this. That's in place. I'll put this on in just a moment. Alright. I don't remember if this was a 10 or a 12. Oh, look, I'm in luck. It's a 12. Doesn't have to be torqued down. That's just what my 12 is on, so that's what I'm using. Okay, that's back in place. That's connected. You know what I forgot? I forgot to put this in that I was just talking about. So that's great. And of course, it's not. After all that trouble I went through to get this thing lined up, and I forget. There we go. That goes like that. So next, I put the air pump back on. This bracket goes here like this. I'm just going to put it in place for now. That also holds the bracket for the oil metering pump. Check my picture for reference. Yeah, that will work. So this air pump goes on. Like this. Okay, I am back. What I ended up doing was taking off this bracket again and putting it all together like outside the car. I had to use a rubber mallet and like beat those spacers in there, but it's on there, and I probably should have done that in the first place because that was much easier. If I ever have to take the air pump off again, I'll just take this whole bracket off to save myself this trouble. Anyways, let me get this hose clamp up here. There we go. Alright, that's on. Next, I am attaching this bracket that I put on. I'm attaching it to the air pump. I will go through and torque down the alternator and the air pump bolts in a bit. Alright, tight. That hose is connected. So the long bolt for the alternator is 27 to 38 foot-pounds. I'm gonna do 30. It would help if I had the right size socket. Yep, 14. Here we go. This is air pump 12 to 17. So since I'm already on 15, we're gonna go with that. Says this bracket right here should be 14 to 19, so I'm just gonna leave it where it's at. Alright, that's all torqued down. Hose is back on there, pivoting, so I'll leave that. Yeah. Let me see what's next. Next are these studs. Maybe I should put some Loctite on there. That might not be a bad idea. Let me go get my Loctite. Okay. I dropped one. Alright, gotta go find the stud that I just dropped. I kind of made too big of a hole and it's getting everywhere. A huge bug just flew on me. It's that bug right there. Next is the fan pulley. Goes right there like that. And these bolts get torqued down to 7.8 to 11 Newton meters. My torque wrench does not go that low, so I'm just gonna kind of feel. And if you remember, when I took this off, it had 2 bolts. I found 2 more from a bolt bin, and yeah, so putting 4 back on here. Okay, so I got that one lined up. That one's lined up. Okay, so the torque specs on these bolts I just put in are 7.8 to 11 Newton meters, the same as these ones. So I assume it's kind of going to be the same issue of this moving. We'll see. No, well, yes. All right, it's on. I'm gonna torque it down a little bit more